Ahem. Hello. You clicked on this video because you were either one of two people. Somebody who gets reputation and someone who doesn't.
Woke up at 11 o'clock, I ain't got no job, what the hell should I do today?
And you are either watching this video for the clarification, the sanity that is understanding the meaning behind the masterpiece of Reputation. Or you were sent this video by someone who really, really cares about you. They really do. And they want you to know that you need to stop being a dumb bitch and just get on the Reputation bandwagon already, because we're waiting. The grunge train is leaving and we're waiting for you, my bitches. Are you ready for it? Let's start from the beginning. Reputation was that bitch. 2017 rolls around. August. Let's go back to her Instagram, where our heads were at, what was happening. It all started on August 21st, 2017. A random day. No. Think again. That's when she posted this snake video. This is where it all began. We really got the full show. The normies and the fakes, I'm not gonna lie. If you guys left, okay, fine. You do you, bitch. But I never left. So when this shit came out, I got the popcorn out and I was ready to enjoy the birth of, quite literally, a phenomenon, conceptual body of work that we never thought she would give us. There was something very, visceral about it,
oh my god, I was on such a high.
So in order to understand what this album was doing to people, we have to understand why it came about. And we know why it came about. It came about because of the whole 2016 fiasco. 2016 rolls around, we have the Calcium situation, the breakup, the getaway car, Tom Hiddleston, See My Bleachella video, if you want more on that. But we had that thing, and then we had the whole Kim and Kanye leaked phone conversation, conveniently leaving out crucial parts of the conversation video. Shit hits the fan, snakes are going viral on the internet, okay? And do you guys know what it's like to be a Taylor Swift fan? Everybody knows you're a Taylor Swift fan because that is literally part of your personality. She is that powerful that she is ingrained part of herself in millions of people's personalities. It's insane, really. And what a time it was to be a Swiftie, really. I defended her to death. Sergeant Emily coming to duty. It brought about this idea of creating a counterculture. She quite literally said, you know what? No one else is going to go against this grain. No one has as much power as I do to go against the culture that is coming for my throat. I am the counterculture to the culture that is against me. And that's where I think people drew the line. It was no longer cool to like Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift comes and goes in waves and being cool. Now, I think a lot of people took this as being, too dramatic and too over the top and, it's just drama, it's just this. No, this is art. If you see it as art, you leave out all of the what's cool, what's not bullshit, because if I thought liking Taylor Swift was cool, I would have been out a long time ago. So, I think a lot of reasons why people don't understand it is because of this counterculture that it created. It was going against the grain. If you said you like Taylor Swift, people were like, you're stupid, Kanye rules, blah, 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 she's a lying snake, blah, 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 blah. And that's the thing. The snake was this second component of why I don't think people understood it. It was like, why is she using the snake that, people were making fun of her for? No, that's her thing. Remember 1989, Blank Space? She's taking the narrative back because she knows that she has the following to do so. And I think people, again, just didn't get that rough exterior vibe. If, you trace it back to, her country roots, it seems out of place. And I can understand if you know, you were just a country stan and you only liked her country stuff. But I think if you're truly in it for her music, you know it's so much more than that. You know, country music was a good medium for her at first because it was simple, but it really let her lyrics and her storytelling shine through, which is what I think ultimately like broke her out. There was no like pop, you know, synths and electronics, heavy metal shit over top of the lyrics kind of covering that up. But now we come to expect it, so when it's there and layered in this pop stuff, it makes sense, you know? So I think I can understand why people may not like this heavy, you know, very like industrial pop that this vibe had, but they vibed with 1989. Because I know those bitches did. All of the bitches vibed to 1989. Don't even play games. Those two albums are different, but they're not that different. My next point. You simply understood Look What You Made Me Do as the lead single, or you didn't. You simply got scared and ran away, or you didn't. You either saw that music video and said, what the fuck is this? Or you didn't. I love you if you understood it. But hear me out. We are here to educate you. We're here to convince you of this masterpiece. The Look What You Made Me Do music video was a cultural reset. Say it with me. Cultural reset. Everything that could have went right in that music video just did. The reason why you didn't get it is probably because you weren't getting the references, you weren't caught up, you weren't well versed. That's fine. I get it. It can look kind of gaudy and kind of almost, I want to say, desperate to somebody who just doesn't get it. The thing is, it's like she really wasn't explaining anything past the art, and she was just making her art, and I don't see anything cringy about that. And I can understand the sentiment behind not vibing with that as a lead single, but that's the point at the same time. Like, it's just not meant to be a lead single in the traditional sense. It was literally meant to tell the story in the correct way. There is no other way to tell, I think, Reputation's story than to introduce it with Look What You Made Me Do, which is exactly one of the main reasons why I think people were turned off, because that song is very odd. It's not the most relatable, but it's Taylor, and it's Taylor in the sense of being at her tipping point, at her breaking point. The point of it, I think, was to make a huge point. And you're not going to get that with a song like Delicate or even Endgame or Ready For It or Getaway Car. You're not going to make a statement like that. You can't make a music video like that that kind of explains the hard exterior that is Reputation, because Reputation has this huge, like, scaly, glittery, black snake pit exterior that is meant to be misunderstood. And that's what exactly Look What You Made Me Do was. It created this wall around Reputation, I think. And you had to, like, hatch on that wall. You had to keep going because I think she was tired of the fake bitches looking at the exterior and only the exterior and liking that for that, but not really getting to know the deeper Taylor. I mean, like, cover arts like this, she never did shit like this. My grunge self was living for it. Like, look at that, like, lighting. Are you kidding? I love how she brought the curls back for this era. I thought it was very ironic that she was bringing back her natural curls in a moment in her career where she couldn't be farther from where she started out. So, to fully understand Reputation, you must know that it has two parts. The parts like Look What You Made Me Do, it creates this outer hard shell, spikes on the side, and all this stuff to keep normies out. But when you start chipping on that wall and you get through the middle, you start going through the album, you start to see sparks, little glimpses of true honesty, of real relationships. The juxtaposition between the two, I think, is what makes this album so fucking great. So this is kind of what I wrote about Reputation and this idea of the hard outer shell with the soft, vulnerable middle. I said, people tend to listen to Reputation and only hear the hard edge, the bitterness in some aspects. But those are really just an amplified version to tell a story. There's a softness to the album that complements it in that way. You see this bitterness and hard outer shell of defense, but she really also let us into her world. Once you get to Delicate, the songs start to trickle in, until it's blaringly obvious. So in Gorgeous, it's playful, but it's there. It's nothing too deep. You can't tell if it's true love or not. But we heard Delicate already, so we're like, okay, we see maybe something's going on here besides, scorn love. Like in Don't Blame Me, she's like, don't blame me, love may be crazy. If it doesn't, then you ain't doing it right. Like she's kind of defending, dating too much idea again, even though she's exploring other versions of the way the world has kind of pinned her against the wall and made her out to be this villain. You get to King of My Heart and you're like, whoa, this is like the college song of my dreams, like falling in love with somebody for the first time, and this feels real, and it feels like this is the only person you need. And then you get to the pinnacle. I think you have a song like Look What You Made Me Do. I think it's the outer shell of Reputation. And then you have a song like Dancing With Your Hands Tied, where I think it's like the song that's halfway to the center. It's that tipping point where you kind of get it or you don't. Like you're either going forward understanding this album or you don't. A genius. And this is where I think she kind of solidifies this two-part idea, and she's kind of admitting in this song, like, I loved you in secret. We're dancing with our hands tied because we're in this situation where I can't love you like I want to love you. I can't show you off. I have to hide it. I loved you in spite of deep fears that the world would divide us. Come the hell on. How is it not blaringly obvious at this point? I don't know what else to tell you besides dancing with our hands tied. And then I would say at the very center of this Reputation sphere that I'm calling it, you have songs like New Year's Day, Delicate, and Call It What You Want. I think those three songs are kind of at the center, with like New Year's Day being at like the very core, the last song on this album, the very core. Delicate's kind of like that introduction, and then Call It What You Want is again another song like Dancing With Her Hands Tied, where we see that vulnerability and kind of the references to the Crime and Punishment, to the, tough, hard exterior. Again, there was also just the fact that this album had zero promotion, zero explanation, zero commercialization. It was totally stripped back, which is completely against the norm for her. She would always promote so that it's in your face, so you're ready for it, hee. And you're kind of, your fans are like expecting it and blah blah blah, which she did announce it prior. It wasn't a surprise album, but she didn't, go on interviews and explain things and make people interested. Like, she was just like, here are some singles. I might do a performance, but I will not say anything on this performance, and I'm just keeping it plain Jane, and I don't know if it reached as many people, and if it's not reaching as many people, it's not as cool. And so, again, this cool thing has a lot to do with it, which I find so interesting, because when did it become cool to care about, like, what people thought about what music you liked or what artists you... They're not promoted, and people see it as, like, a flop. Like, all those people that were calling Reputation's gonna be a flop tour, motherfucking people showed the hell up. I went to 2 different shows in 2 different cities, one of them being like 8 hours away. It was not a flop tour. That was the greatest days of my life. I'm exaggerating a bit, but they were like, those are like top 2 best days of my life. Because I just loved that so effing much. Imagine how Scopper should have felt when Taylor was like, listen, I know I was pushing the envelope with 1989, but get ready for this shit. And just like, he's like, whatever, you're making me money. Bitch. I just can't with this album. If you don't understand it, that's fine. It's fine. I'll be okay. I'm just wondering where your sanity's at. Because when she does something daring like this, I am so proud of her. Because, you know, we all have our personality traits. And one of hers is being a people pleaser. And this went against that grain, and I was so happy because you were so used to her being so polished. And this was nice. I don't like to see her, like, obviously, like, taking down in the media, but doing it on her own terms. Bitch. I love that. The softness that is Reputation. Don't even come to me and say you didn't like Reputation. Salute to me, I'm your American queen, and you move to me like I'm a molten. Like, really? You don't have any place in your heart for that pre-chorus? Really? Okay, I was just wondering. You don't have to say nothing. I was just wondering. Anyways, that's the video. Either you get it or you don't. And thank you for listening to me ramble for like however long that was. So either there's two kinds of people in this world. Either you get Reputation or you simply don't. And I can't do anything besides make a video and try to help you understand. Thank you. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Me and Taylor love you. Subscribe for more chaotic videos of me explaining shit that you may or may not care about. Kisses, bitches. Like and subscribe. Okay.